Hare Krishna. So today we're going to have a short katha. So the plan for the next 2 days, today and tomorrow for katha is as follows. So I'm going to start now on the discussion of Sita Kalyanam, and I'll speak for about 45 minutes to an hour today, and then we'll have the kids drama. And then tomorrow morning we'll again have a 1 hour katha. But tomorrow I'm going to keep about half an hour or 45 minutes for question answers, because we have not had chance to have discussions and question answers till now. So all of you all, whatever doubts you have, ask tomorrow. So probably tomorrow morning will be the only time we'll have for question answers. So in the last 5-6 days, how many hour kathas you have been hearing? Any questions, any doubts you have, please ask. After you go back, you may not get sleep and all. Better to clarify whatever you have doubts and then go back from here. So all the doubts we will discuss it tomorrow. And tomorrow morning we're also having a small dance by Bhakti, one of our young girls. And then tomorrow evening we will have again a 1 hour katha. Will be the last session. And then we also are going to have another drama by another set of kids, the smaller kids. Now we have the older kids doing drama today, but tomorrow we'll have the smaller kids doing drama. And then I also want to spend tomorrow evening doing like a small discussion where all of you all can open up, share about your experiences of the yatra, what you have learned, what you have gained, what you would like to carry back with you all, and all that. So that I want to keep some time for that too. So that's what tomorrow's day is going to sound like. Tomorrow morning we're going to have darshans. After the katha, we'll be going out to a couple of places. But tomorrow, second half, we are not planning to have any darshan as such. So we'll mostly be in the hotel. So we'll have a little longer window for doing whatever we need to do. Also, we probably might give you a little time for going and doing shopping or whatever you want to do, But come back on time so that we can have a longer session to wind up the yatra. Okay? So that's what the whole thing is. I don't know how many of you are going to be there 31st also in the first half. How many of you are here on first half, 31st? Okay, some of you all are here, first half, 31st. We'll see. We'll do something on 31st, first half also. We'll decide that. A lot of people have flights at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and all that. Yeah. So many other destinations also have afternoon flights, basically. So whoever is there in the first half of 31st, we'll see if we can do something else. Okay. So today morning, we discussed the story of Vishwamitra Muni as spoken by Satananda Rishi. Satananda Rishi does a complete detailed description of Vishwamitra Muni's story to Ram and Lakshman. And after Satananda Rishi completes his discussion of the story of Vishwamitra Muni, at that point in time, Vishwamitra Muni, he tells Janak Maharaj to show the Shiva Dhanush to Lord Ram. The name of Shiva Dhanush is called as Pinaka. That is the name of that bow. It's called Pinaka. So Janak Maharaj, he tells Vishwamitra Muni, I will show them the bow. But before I show them the bow, let me tell them about the bow. See, this is a tradition that is always followed in the Vedic culture. The tradition that is followed in the Vedic culture is that before you see something, you first hear about that thing. Before you see someone, hear about that person. Before you go to have any darshan, first hear about the glory of that deity and then go. Before you go to see any holy place, hear about the holy place. Because what happens is when you hear, your appreciation increases. Today we had Pashupatinath Darshan, isn't it? But you all already heard the story of Pashupatinath. And therefore when you went there, you were much more attentive. You could see more things and you could experience more things. You could, there was the devotion element also was much higher because You know what you are dealing with. And therefore, Janak Maharaj, in that mood, he tells Lord Ram, he tells Vishwamitra Muni, I will tell them about the bow first. When you assess the value of anything based on external appearance, you will always have a misjudgment. But once you start speaking and understanding a little bit deeper, then your whole judgment changes. I'm sure when you all came on the first day of the yatra together and you all were looking at each other, you all started judging each other in certain ways, right? Obviously, that happens, it's bound to happen. But as you all got to know each other, as you all connected with each other, spent a lot of time with one another, vomited together, student lines together, ate prasad together, served together, so many things you all did together. And then you figured out that, this person whom I judged so badly is not so bad after all, isn't it? So you kind of get a better understanding of a person over a period of time as you interact, as you connect, and as you understand the person better, and as you speak with that person. So Janak Maharaj here, he is going to speak about the connection of that bow with history. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes this very beautiful statement, verse, which says, Esha Prakriti Sangena Purushasya Viparyaya. So he says that Esha Prakriti Sangena. So when things associate with matter, it appears very gross. And then he says, when that same thing starts associating with spirit, it changes its form, it changes its appearance, it changes its dimensions. A lot of people who come to these holy places, I'm sure you would have seen a lot of people coming into these holy places. The sixth descendant of Nimi, who was one of the founders of Janak Maharaj's dynasty. So Devavrata eventually gave the bow lower down, and finally it came to Janak Maharaj, who is the current king of Mithila. Lord Vishnu, he gave his bow to Richika Muni. Any of you recognize this name, Richik Muni? From today mornings. And Richik Muni eventually gave this bow to Jamadagni, and another sage. And Jamadagni gave this bow to his son Parashuram. And that is how the Vishnu bow reached Parashuram. After telling the whole story of these two bows, then Janak Maharaj tells his people, now get the bow. Obviously now the eagerness to see the bow is higher, because now they know how powerful that bow is and where all that bow has been used and who all this bow has been possessed by. And when Janak Maharaj instructed his people to get the bow, 5,000 people got up. Ram, Lakshmana, Vishwamitra Muni is thinking, what's going on? If I tell someone, get water in one bottle, will all of you all stand up and go to get water? Obviously not, isn't it? One person goes and gets, isn't it? But here, when Janak Maharaj said, get the bow, 5,000 people stood up. And then they went out of that courtroom, they went to the adjacent building. There was another entire building made only for this bow. And there were 5,000 strong men that began to push a cart on which this bow was mounted. And there were 500 strong bulls that were pulling the cart. Imagine how huge that bow was and how powerful that bow was. Last time when we went to Janakpur, if you have seen that bow, we only saw the middle portion of that bow, right? On the ground, embedded on the ground. Imagine how huge that only middle portion was. So if the entire bow, if you see, it was like 3 times bigger than that, isn't it? And usually the middle portion is the smallest portion of the bow. And the two sides are much, much bigger. So here, Janak Maharaj, when he instructed, these 500 bulls and 5,000 men began to pull and push the cart on which this bow was kept. It is explained when that cart moved a little bit and moved away from the place where it was kept stationary, the earth in that part, it felt as if it was feeling a relief on its back. The bow was kept over there, and suddenly the bow moved for some time. The earth in that section felt relief. The men's backs practically broke while lifting this bow. 5,000 men. And when this bow was being brought with so much endeavor into that court, there was a buzzing that was happening in the court. Everyone in the courtroom began to talk. And somebody said, "This is not a bow. This is Mount Meru in the form of a bow." Somebody else said, "Actually, this is Mandara mountain that was used to churn the milk ocean, that has taken the form of a bow now." Somebody else said, "Actually, it's a rainbow that has fallen on the ground." This is, Indra Dhanush, literally. And it is explained that the bow was beautifully decorated. The upper part of the bow, was covered with elephant skin. The lower part of the bow was covered with tiger skin. And in the middle, the grip of the bow was multicolored. So Janak Maharaj worshipped this bow every day. And here, once in a year, he organized a Dhanur Yajna. For 12 days, he would organize a massive festival of worshipping this bow and performing sacrifices to worship this particular bow. The interesting thing is that Janak Maharaj could not use the bow, so he only ended up worshipping the bow. There are many things in our life that we are supposed to be using. Is the bow supposed to be worshipped? The bow is not created for worshipping, right? The bow is created for using. But unfortunately, Janak Maharaj and all the people of Mithila, they couldn't lift that bow. What to speak of using it? How will they use it if they can't even lift it? So they only ended up worshipping it. They were decorating it nicely. They were doing yajnas for it. They were doing puja for it. They were offering flowers for it, like that. Ideally, whatever we are given, we're supposed to use it nicely for the purpose for which it was created. But unfortunately, those who don't have the qualification to use it, we end up worshipping it. Just like a lot of people, when they worship Bhagavad Gita at home, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, they do arti for it, Ramayan, they keep it in the altar and they do arti for it. Are those books supposed to be only for that purpose? Obviously not. We're supposed to pick them up and study them, isn't it? But because people don't know how to study them, they don't have the capacity to study them, they only end up worshipping them. In fact, over a period of many generations, it becomes so much ritualistic, people think that that book cannot be picked up only. It should be kept in the altar only and worshipped. The original purpose for which the book is created only defeated, basically, simply by worshipping it. So many people have a eagerness to possess something valuable. But rather than using what they have and making whatever they have valuable, they just want to possess something that is valuable. Obviously now, if you look at it in our own context, how many people want to possess an iPhone? But do they know even 5% of the technology that phone is meant to actually be used? Hardly anybody knows. First class photo they'll keep taking each other. That's the only feature of iPhone most people use. Take photo, bus. When you have such high-end gadgets and you don't even know how to make basic use of it, what is the point in having it? Right? So this bow of Lord Shiva over here, it's supposed to be a high-end gadget. It's supposed to be a very, very high-tech, equipment. It's supposed to be one of the most powerful bows in the world. But imagine what state it has come to. It is being kept on an altar and worshipped. That bow must be feeling so bad for itself. What I was created for and what I am being used for. And all of us also like that bow. We are created for one purpose, but we're using our bodies and our minds for another purpose. So when what you have is not used properly, that only becomes a worshipable object. It's only an external show. But when you actually start using it properly, like Lord Shiva used that bow to kill some of the most powerful demons in the world, right? But unfortunately, down the line, nobody could use that properly. So here, when this bow was brought into the court, Janak Maharaj, when he saw that bow, he started having a lot of thoughts in his mind. In fact, all the people of Mithila that were sitting there in the audience, they also had many thoughts in their mind. And Janak Maharaj, who was sitting there, seeing that bow come in, he also had a lot of thoughts in his mind. What were the thoughts they were going through? They were going through some very disturbing thoughts. Because that bow that has been there in Janakpur for quite some time, it has caused a lot of havoc in everybody's lives, practically speaking. Janak Maharaj, first of all, kept a condition for his daughter's marriage. The condition that he kept for his daughter's marriage was that whoever can pick up this bow can marry my daughter Sita. Now, obviously, all the people of Mithila always wondered, why is Janak making such a condition? They were always confused, and Janak never gave them any explanation. He was only adamant with this fact that whoever should marry my daughter should lift this bow at least once. So now, many years had passed that Janak had put this condition. And even though many years had passed, at least many months had passed, and hundreds and thousands of people had come to try to pick up that bow so that they can get to marry Sita. And no matter how many people came and tried, nobody could pick that bow because that bow was impossible for anyone to pick. Every time a powerful king came to Mithila and tried to pick up that bow and could not pick up the bow, that person felt insulted. Obviously, he is powerful, but he's not able to pick it up, and everybody starts laughing, And all these kings, they assumed that Janak is cheating us. Janak has put a condition that is impossible to fulfill. And Janak is doing it just to make fun of us. And when they felt cheated, when they felt insulted, they would come and attack Mithila. So every time this, one new king comes and tries to lift the bow and he's not able to do it, a war would happen in Mithila. So the Mithilavasis were fed up of these wars, Every time one new fellow comes, tries to pick up and then again goes and declares a war, The Mithilavasis is thinking, is our king gone mad? He knows very well nobody is going to pick up that bow. He knows very well. But still, why he has put a condition like this? Janak doesn't give explanation. Because Janak has a problem that he can't share with the world. The problem is that when Sita was very small, she was playing with her friends. And one day, the ball with which they were playing went below the place where the bow was kept. And Sita ran to pick up the ball. She just picked up the bow with her left hand and removed the ball and threw the bow back and ran back. Those guards who were standing there when they saw Sita pick up the bow with her left hand, so effortlessly, all of them fainted. They couldn't believe a small girl went and picked up just so effortlessly. They went and told Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj, when he came to know, he realized his daughter is not an ordinary girl. He realized somebody very, very powerful is born to him. Of course, we all know that Sita was, born from the earth, right? So Janak knew this is not an ordinary girl. Now, Janak told those 4 or 5 people that saw that episode, keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about this to anybody. He gave them whatever money he could give to shut their mouth, and they never ever spoke about this to anybody. And Janak himself never spoke to anybody about it. But he knew it within his heart. And therefore he put a condition that somebody who marries Sita should at least lift the bow once. Why? Imagine if Sita gets married to somebody who is a lukha, who is not as powerful, and Sita goes and embraces that person. The fellow will die. He'll become chutney, isn't it? So Janak Maharaj, he is worried about his future son-in-law, the life of his future son-in-law. He has seen the power of his daughter. Now the thing is, he can't even talk about the power of his daughter to anybody, otherwise nobody will come to marry her. If somebody comes to know that she just lifted like that, who will marry her, isn't it? As it is, people don't want to marry powerful women. Most men don't want to marry powerful women because male ego can't handle powerful people, powerful female, strength. It requires a lot of humility for a male ego to handle a powerful female. Janak Maharaj, he realized, I can't take a risk by letting this information out. Obviously, as a proud father, he should have told everybody, look at how powerful my daughter is. But he was also a little sensible father, because he knew the problems that can come in the future. So he just kept quiet. And he kept this condition. And he was not ready to budge. All the Mithila Vasis were judging him. What a stupid king. What a stupid father. It looks like he doesn't want his daughter to get married only. It looks like he's put an impossible condition for his daughter's marriage. So the Mithila Vasis kept speculating without understanding Janak's problem. And Janak, he is not able to tell his problem to anybody else. And he only continued praying. I hope and pray I find the right person. I hope and pray I am not wrong. The reality of life is that every one of us have something in our hearts that we can't tell the world. We have some problem that we are going through in our lives that we can't tell the world. Because if we tell the world, it will be a chaos. But if you don't tell the world also, it's a chaos. So we are stuck in such a situation, a lot of us. And when we are stuck in such a situation, Janak Maharaj realized the only thing I can do is offer prayers. So life often puts us in such tricky and sticky situations where we can't share our struggles with anybody else, where we can't share our frustrations even with those people that we love. At such times, the only way to find hope is prayer. So Janak Maharaj, he took this decision. He couldn't talk about why he took the decision to anybody else. He couldn't convince anybody else that what he is doing is right. But all he could do was offer prayers and hope that he has taken the right decision in life. Now, when Janak Maharaj sees Lord Ram come in, he feels a lot of hope in his heart. Vishwamitra Muni has already built up, right? He killed Tataka, he defeated Marich Subahu, he delivered Ahalya. So Vishwamitra already has built a lot of hope in Janak, saying that potentially Ram is, a person who can do it. So Janak Maharaj, he looks at Ram with a lot of hope. And he tells Vishwamitra Muni rather, if Ram is able to lift this bow, then I will give Sita's hand in marriage to him. So look at this statement of Janak Maharaj. What is he saying? If Ram is able to lift this bow, I'll give Sita's hand to him in marriage. This word if is a very big word. What does it mean? What does it show? First of all, it shows that Janak is doubtful. He is doubtful of Ram's ability to pick up that bow. Why is Janak doubtful? Because he has seen so many failures. Last several months, so many people have come, and each one that comes makes big statements. I'll do this and I'll do that, and they are not able to do it. So Janak Maharaj now doesn't want to believe unless he sees it. Say, na? Seeing is believing, right? So Janak Maharaj is in that mood. Seeing is believing. I am not going to believe Ram unless he actually does it. If this word indicates Janak's state of mind. When you constantly witness failures in your life, you become a doubting Janak. Just like in Christianity, there is doubting Thomas. In our scriptures, Vedic scripture, there is a doubting Janak. Doubting Ram. Imagine. If doubting normal people is fine. But Janak is doubting Ram only. He is doubting the Supreme Lord only. So, a lot of us, in the beginning of our spiritual journeys, we are like doubting Janak only. In the Ramayana, we find Sugriv. He is telling Ram, are you sure you will kill Vali? Now what can Ram say? What does Sugriv expect him to say? Does Sugriv expect him to say, no, yes, I can do it, And even if he says, will Sugriv believe? So these doubting Janaks and doubting Sugrivs are many in life. And the crazy thing is that so many times God has to prove that He is God. God has to prove that I can do it. Imagine what a state, All of us in our lives also, we begin our spiritual journeys. And then we get a lot of doubts. Can God deliver us actually? You are nothing. God can do anything. But somehow, when we experience a lot of negativity in life, a lot of bitterness in life, a lot of failures in life, we start losing hope. We start losing hope in the process. We start losing hope in people. We start losing hope in situations of life. And whenever we come across situations where we start losing hope like this, the antidote of such a doubting Janak is associating with a confident Ram. Janak Maharaj is doubting. And one of the reasons why Janak is doubting so much is because the citizens of Mithila are constantly passing negative comments. He is such a fool. What a condition he has kept. Does he love his daughter at all? Does he want his daughter to get married? How many times do you have to see failure? The citizens of Mithila have been speaking a lot of negative comments. And because the environment of Mithila was filled with disease of doubt and failures, in such an environment, Ram comes as a gust of confidence. Life is, in the material world, tends towards bitterness caused by, there's a sandwich of lamentation and hankering. So when you are sandwiched between lamentation and hankering, it causes a lot of bitterness in your life. So when you are, so basically the people that you trust, that you love, they tend to cause the biggest bitterness in your own life. The people that you really trust and love, they cause so much of bitterness in your own life. Of course, sometimes Nobody wants to add bitterness to your life, but the way the material world is organized, that automatically bitterness comes into your life. It's a natural way in which the material world is organized. It will create bitter experiences for you. No matter how perfectly you plan anything, there will always be some reason for you to be miserable. Isn't it? How perfectly we planned yesterday's trip. Still, in the end, we are all miserable, isn't it? Yeah. And all of us had different reasons to be miserable. Some were miserable because that subject got spoiled. Some were miserable because some toilet stop didn't happen on time. Some were miserable because they were vomiting. Some were miserable. So many reasons to be miserable, isn't it? Even if you plan everything to perfection, there will always be some reason to be miserable. That's the way this material world is organized. And the idea is that whenever you come across such situations of being miserable, we need someone who adds an element of hope into our life. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the story of Dhruva Maharaj and his stepmother Surichi added so much of bitterness in his life. She made one negative comment, and that comment literally messed up his life. Dhruva, he only wanted to sit on his father's lap. 5-year-old boy wanting to sit on a father's lap is not wrong. It's not a big thing to ask for, isn't it? But his stepmother Suruchi said, you can't sit on your father's lap unless you're born from my womb. Only, my son can sit on father's lap. Dhruva was so disturbed. He was so bewildered. He ran to his mother, Suniti. And his mother, she understood that this boy is miserable, but she also understood that she is helpless. And Suniti, she could have made Dhruva's life, which was already miserable, more miserable by saying all bad things about Suruchi. She could have told him, Arey, you know what? From the day you are born, I am suffering. And she could have gone on to talk about all the bad ways in which Suruchi made her life miserable. But instead, what does Suniti do? Suniti simply tells Dhruva that actually, I can't help you, nor can your father help you, nor can anyone else help you. The only person that can help you is Lord Narayan. Take shelter of him. He has the heart of millions of mothers put together. And he not only has the heart of millions of mothers put together, he also has the power to help you. So she gave hope to Dhruva. She gave direction to Dhruva. She gave vision to Dhruva. When you come across someone who is hopeless, who is helpless, who is very disturbed, you should not give that person advice, but you should give that person hope. The problem with that is that when we come across somebody who is miserable, that time we try to give them philosophical advice. When you try to give someone philosophical advice, when they are miserable, it backfires. There was this, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a story of Shivananda Sen and Shrikanta Sen. Shivananda Sen used to organize yatras for going from Bengal to Mayapur. So all the devotees from Navadip would go to, from Navadip they would go to Jagannath Puri. And Shivananda Sen was a yatra manager. And Shivananda Sen organized perfectly, everything well organized. One day, Shivananda Sen got stuck in some tax, some tax formalities, And Prasad did not come on time. Very interesting scenario. Very similar to what we went through yesterday. So, Shivananda Sen got stuck a little bit. And then Prasad didn't come on time. Then finally Shivananda Sen came and he met Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is Avadut. He does whatever he wants. Nityananda was so hungry and he got so angry, he kicked Shivananda Sen on his chest. At least none of you all kicked. Thank you. There was no Nityananda Prabhu in this group. So Shivananda Sen got kicked on his chest. And when Shivananda Sen got kicked, he immediately went to Nityananda Prabhu and he said, please, please forgive me, I'll arrange for Prasad. He made him sit down, massaged his feet, and actually arranged Prasad for Nityananda Prabhu. But this was seen by Shivananda Sen's nephew, I think, named Shrikanta Sen. Shrikanta Sen saw this, got completely bewildered. He got completely bewildered. He lost faith only in Nityananda Prabhu. He lost faith in the whole process. He said, what is this? Dude is kicking like this. And he kicked my uncle. He left from there. He left the whole party and went to Puri on his own, alone. And he went and met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understood the whole situation. And the Shrikant Sen walks in to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Gambhira in his house. And when Shrikant Sen walks in, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understands that this fellow is completely disturbed, completely bewildered and completely disturbed, losing faith. That time, this Govinda, who was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's assistant, he sees Shrikanta Sen walk in to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his shawl on his neck. In those days, the rule was that, or rather the etiquette was that, when you're going to meet somebody very senior to you, you don't wear an upper cloth. You remove the upper cloth and go. Now, obviously, in today's world, upper cloth is your tie. So, in those days, the rule was that if somebody goes to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you don't wear the uttari. You remove it and go. But Shrikanta Sen was so disturbed, he wore it and went in. And this Govinda is going to give him advice, telling him, hey, you can't wear this uttari. You remove the uttari. And Mahaprabhu told Govinda, please don't go and give him advice. He is already disturbed. A person who is disturbed does not need advice, they need hope. So Mahaprabhu made him sit with him, and Mahaprabhu only gave him love. Shrikanta Sen was able to handle that whole thing because of Mahaprabhu's love. Imagine if Govinda had gone and given him some instructions. This fellow would have freaked out. He would have left Navadip, he would have left Puri also, he would have gone completely away from the whole movement, isn't it? But Mahaprabhu handled it very sensitively. So here, in this particular story, the story of Dhruva Maharaj, we find Suniti handled it very sensitively. In the story of Shrikanta Sen, we find Mahaprabhu handled it very sensitively. Similarly, here in this particular story, Janak Maharaj is in a state of confusion. He is in a state of bewilderment. He is in a state of hopelessness. He is in a state of lamentation. He is in a state of frustration. And therefore, he is saying, if Ram lifts the bow, I will marry Sita to him. So now, if Vishwamitra Muni had to go and give Janak Maharaj some advice, why are you doubting the Supreme Lord? Don't have such doubts in your mind. And if you had given him some philosophical lecture, Janak Maharaj already is confused fellow. He is already so bewildered. He is already so disturbed. Why disturb him more? Unfortunately, many times devotees don't realize this. They go and counsel somebody who is so disturbed and go and give him philosophical advice. They don't need philosophical advice at that time. They don't need a philosophy at that time. They only need love. I know so many people who at the wrong time use philosophy. Somebody's house, there is a death in the family. And they have lost someone that they really love. And they're crying and lamenting. That time you can't go and quote Deino Smeta Dehi verse. Why are you lamenting? Be a dhira. Forget, this is the material body. What is dead over here is material body lying over here. That's not the time to show your knowledge of philosophy. That's the time to show compassion. That's the time to go and cry along with them. That's the time to show love. So unfortunately, when devotees don't understand this, they try to get too technical in the wrong times. So Vishwamitra Muni dealt with Janak Maharaj in a very sensitive way. Vishwamitra Muni did not philosophize Janak Maharaj's mistake, but rather he decided to allow Janak to experience something that will give him hope. Vishwamitra Muni uh, allowed Janak Maharaj to experience something that he has never experienced before. How many ever words Vishwamitra spoke, that won't help Janak. But what he sees now will help Janak. So Vishwamitra did not get into this matter and rather allowed Janak Maharaj to experience Ram with his own eyes. Lord Ram, he gets up and he asks his Guru Vishwamitra Muni, "Can I see that bow?" Vishwamitra Muni tells him, "Please, go ahead." And then what happens next is something that is mind-blowing. The experience that Janak has, I'm not talking about Janak lifting, Ram lifting the bow.